Hi, I'm Anita Potter from Anita Potter Productions, and today I'm going to do a mix breakdown of the Workday Release Circles. Circles is a song by the Workday Release. I don't believe it's been released. I'm not sure. I went looking for it yesterday to see if there was an official version that I could link below in the description, and I couldn't find one. If anybody knows of one, please let me know in the comments below. If you put a link in your comment, it'll get held for review because I don't allow links anymore. But I'll be able to see it. Usually when I upload videos, I will go and check that, check the held for review every day to see if something accidentally got put in there. So let me know in the comment section below, and let's get started. Now, these tracks, I am a member of the Produce Like a Pro Academy, and these are a set of multi-tracks that are available within there. So let's go ahead and give a little listen to it, maybe like through the first verse, and it'll show you what I did.
I know it's over, it was over from the start. But hope set us on fire, and we fell like lovers do. I'm moving forward, it's hard not glancing back, thinking what could happen if I had a second chance. Would we get it right? Find a way to look past the obvious and see the good. I tell myself at night there's no way it could be fixed, but I can't help but wonder, am I wrong? Oh yeah, what a shame.
As you can hear the reverb and delay keep going after you press stop. Basically, this is a small set of tracks. A vocal and a piano. That's it. That's all it is. Most mix breakdowns involve like massive amounts of tracks, but I kind of like the ones where it's just simple. 5 tracks or less, which is some people find it difficult to mix just 2 tracks. But it's not that hard. I'm here to tell you it's not that hard. If I can do it, you can do it. So let's go over the tracks. We have a mono piano. I have a piano reverb that I send the piano to. And the vocal also has the vocal thickening, the octave under, a delay, and a reverb. Let's start with the piano. Now you can see I like sliced it up and muted the beginning because I think there was some noise or something in the beginning of that in the silence, and I didn't want it to mess with it. I gain staged it up at 3.30 dB. And I think that's all I did, and then rounded it out faded it out at the end. Now let's look at the FX. I have an EQ. I had a compressor that I bypassed. This is another compressor that I'm using. I have repitch and transpire by sonic anomaly. Now on the EQ, I took off around 60, boosted the low, not the lows, but sort of the low end of the mid-range, and then ducked a little bit of the mid-range out and gave it a higher lift. to give a little more air to the piano. I have a compressor, the Molot. It's a free plugin, and it's not doing much. It's just doing just a little bit.
And see the good, I tell myself at night. There's no way it could be fixed, but I can't help.
As you can tell, the piano was a little too attacky. It was like really sharp on the transients, so I needed to compress it just a little bit. It's not doing much. It's set to 4-to-1 ratio. Not the fastest attack, but a 10 millisecond attack. I do believe that's milliseconds. I can't quite tell. There's a little bit of a filter. I don't know if that's on or not. I can't tell, as there's no way to resize this. I don't think this plugin is resizable. Nope. So let's put that back to where it was. The threshold is at 13.8, minus 13.8. Somewhere between a hard and medium knee. Soft is over here, hard's over there. Left it on dry. 4 times upsampling. I'm not sure what half this stuff does, but I just fiddled with the knobs until it got something that I liked. Stereo, 0 on the mid scoop, and there's no limit to set to 0. So that takes care of that one. Now the repitch. This was recorded on Warren's, what he calls his crappy piano. I call it a piano with character. It's a bit out of tune, so I pitched it up about 13 cents. You could probably hear the difference. Let's solo the track. I've bypassed the pitch. Just to give it a little more, I wanted it wasn't trying to get it to be like completely in tune, because with acoustic pianos, it's an upright piano, there's always going to be just that little bit where it's just a little off. So I didn't want to like completely try to get it in tune. I'd also toyed with the idea of replaying it on my piano, but then I started thinking about it. I was like, no, because then it would lose all the emotion into the song. So I just left it alone. I just pitched it up 13 cents. And seeing as the piano had been really, really like plinky, not sure how to describe it. It was like really like pounding. Basically, it's like really sharp transients. So I slapped Transpire on it. It's a transient, well, it says transient processor. So I took the transients down, and let's see, is that, what is that? Sustain. That's what it is. I couldn't remember. This was sustain. I turned the transients down and gave it just a little bit more sustain. Let's turn that one off. Track is still soloed, so let's press play. And I'll turn it on and off so you can hear it. Yeah, it just softens it a little bit more. That's why I put it on there. So that takes care of the piano. I did believe, let me look at the, see if I did some volume automation. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've looked at this track. Yeah, I did some volume automation onto the piano after the vocals were done. When there were no more, when there was no more singing, I turned the piano up. So that takes care of the piano. And now I have a piano reverb, and I EQ'd it, get rid of the lows and the highs, and reverbate, set it to acoustic in the mix. It's just a, what's the word I'm looking for? a preset. That's the word. Set it to preset, turn the dry all the way off, put the wet up to 0. Can't remember if I messed with any of the dials when I did this initially, but there's a low pass and a high pass on it also as well. And you can solo the verb here. And that takes care of the piano reverb. I could have done some volume automation on that reverb, but I decided not to. So now, I'm going to scroll back here a little bit, and we'll go the vocals. As you can see, got David's vocal track here. I sliced it right there towards the end of the song. He was like really projecting and really loud, but I wanted to turn it down. I didn't want it to be so much over the top where it's going to blast your ears off. And the vocal chain I have an EQ. Got rid of 120, wiped off 120 and below. Got rid of some of the, like a little bit of the nasal in his voice around, let's see, where is it, 600. Third one is just not doing anything, and I gave him a little more air on the high end of his voice. Then I have wave sibilance. Have the detection set to the left. I forget which one. I think this side goes to more of the S's, and the other side is more to the pops, but I'm not entirely sure. There are tutorials that go into more depth on this. I play with knobs and get it to where I want it, or I look it up and watch the videos again, and it's just sometimes I don't use this one exclusively. Sometimes I will use the JS de-esser, which is bypassed here, but sometimes I need this, and you can monitor it. Click on look ahead, it'll look ahead. Got the threshold set to minus 20.1, and the range is at 21.8. Let's see what it does.
See the good, I tell myself at night. There's no way it could be fixed, but I can't help but
when it's in monitor only, you can hear what it's doing. So, and I also had to do some volume automation because de-essers can only do so much. You can stack 2, 3, 4, 5 of them on there, but if it can't catch all of them, or if there's something, if it's really just out there, it's easier to just volume automate them down. And I volume automated down some of the breaths. I'm going to zoom in on this, and I'm going to make this bigger so you can see. I took that down. See, I've got it set to minus 0.85 dBs, and then this is down minus 2.65. You just do it by ear. You make your points, turn it down, listen within the context of the song. Don't listen to it in solo unless there's something you're hearing you can't quite figure out. If there's something really annoying you with a vocal, then solo it. If not, listen to it within the track, because otherwise you might be sucking the life out of it. So I think these are like, might be the sibilance parts.
I know it's over. It was over from the start.
Yeah. The really S's that I took those down. I don't think there was, yeah, so a lot of it is like little S-y, unless this is a breath.
It's hard not good.
Nope.
It's hard not good.
Now that's another S. So I think what I did was just on the S, the harsh S's that the de-esser couldn't catch. I don't like stacking de-essers. I'm sure a lot of you get them to work like that, but I tend to just use one, and then if it's just like little things, I'm not going to stack more on top of it. I can handle it with volume automation. So we're going to move that back down to where it was. And then we've got our vocal thickening, which is repitch, and I've got 2 videos on that. The second one I uploaded earlier this week, like pitching left and right, left side negative, right side positive, then left side positive, right side negative, all the way across to 8. You can do as many or as little as you want on that. Depends on the vocal. I tend to stick with 8. Then I have the octave under, which is just repitch, and I just dragged it down -1 octave. And then we've got the delay. Not sure, I can't remember. Okay, I have an EQ over the delay, taking off the low and the highs. I'm using the stock redelay. There's like 4 taps at various settings that I think I see. It's not, I didn't use a preset, so I hand moved out the knobs, the sliders around to get what I wanted. Now I put a compressor on here, and I dropped the vocal onto the compressor to get the delay. Because when the vocals are in, the compressor is working. When he's not singing, the delay comes up.
It's hard not glancing back,
As you can see.
thinking what could happen if I had a second chance.
Yep.
Would
It's a side chaining. You just take the vocal, drag the routing button. Let's see, does it say? It goes to the delay. Why are there 2? I don't know. I'm confused. But yeah, I sent the delay to this compressor. You drag the vocal to and drop it onto the compressor. You don't drop it here because then it would probably drop onto something else. I'm not sure, but you just drop it onto the compressor, and then you change it to auxiliary input left and right, and turn the threshold down, turn the dry all the way off, leave the wet at 0. And that's all there is to that delay. And the last track is the reverb. EQ'd the reverb, high and low. And reverbate is set to intimate vocal. Turn the dry all the way off and the wet as at -3 dB. Now, I also tried to do other tracks with it, but those are the mixed stems. I was trying to add a flute, a clarinet, another clarinet. That's a flute stem, the clarinet, flute verb pan, clarinet stem. I just couldn't get it to sound right. It wasn't working well. I wanted it to, like, surround the piano, but I couldn't get it to work right. And that's okay. Sometimes songs don't need extra tracks. If it's not working, don't try to sit there and try to make it work. You'll be pulling your hair out trying to get it to work. And that's not sometimes it just doesn't need any more than what you have. Just add a little reverb and delay, set it to how you want to hear it, do some volume automation, and that's it for the tracks. Now I have my mix bus. I saved that for last. And this is in the way. Close that real quick. Limiter number 6. Oh, that's what this was. Okay. I have the compressor turned off. I have a peak limiter set to -1, and that's it. The only thing that's running on this is this part right here, the peak limiter. Everything else is off. Next up is the Nova 67P. I have side chained 80 out of the bass because you don't want anything on the low end. You don't want it to give you a pumping compression. So that took care of that. And it's not doing much. It's at -1.5. You can see what it does.
It's hard not glancing back,
It's barely touching it.
thinking what could happen if I had a second chance. Would we get it right?
You can see that it's hard to see that there's a little line there and it moves just a little bit. Just a little. Ratio I have set to 1.5 to 1, which is this right here. And it just does the job. And I added a little saturation. And by little, I mean little. This plugin, it's really easy to overdo it with this. It's set at 0.2. Anything more than that, and it's just too much. Way too much. So I left the output at 0. I didn't add any distortion because I didn't want to distort my entire mix. I just wanted to give it a little glue. Just a little glue at 0.2 for the saturation. And that is basically this mix. That's all it is. 2 tracks, some plugins, a couple of scent tracks. My track count total, not including the mix bus, is 7. 7 tracks. Mix bus makes it 8. These I don't use. They're all muted, and I didn't touch any of those. So that is all there is. And everything, I do believe, everything is in the center. Yep. Panning is all center. What gives it the illusion of width is the reverb and the delays. I don't need to pan the piano off to the left and the vocal off to the right since there's only 2 tracks and they're both mono tracks. I wouldn't do that. That would be silly. And that's it for this mix breakdown. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.